Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy speaking, Friday 22nd of April. Just coming up 6 o'clock, looking ahead to games this evening and tomorrow in Scotland. There's a bet tonight, which I'll give you here. I'm having 4 bets this weekend. Decent weekend for us last weekend. 2 of the 3 bets going in, including the 2-point win bet on Sten Housebeer. Right, I'll give you the bet tonight first. I'm having a 2-point win bet. Well, I've had a 2-point win bet on Kilmarnock to beat Arbroath. That was advised yesterday to members. We took the even money. It's a lot shorter now. It's not just our money. I doubt what's moved it, but 2 points to win on Kilmarnock to beat Arbroath tonight in the Championship. And that's the bet tonight, and that bet is the strongest bet of the weekend. There's 3 others as well, but let's go through. Start with the Premiership. Motherwell Rangers 14-22-64. Rangers, to me, have they accepted it? Possibly, probably, is the answer to that. I still probably expect them to win this game. 3 points in Motherwell at 14% offers no interest purely on the rating, and Rangers, you need your head seen to if you take 1-3, about 4-7. Aberdeen Livingston 42-23-35. Whilst I agree Aberdeen should be favourites for this game, slight favourites I might add, 21-20 is a bit of an insult of a price, bearing in mind this is for a team that's won once since Boxing Day. One win in 4 months is appalling. Livingston haven't been so great lately. Their form's tailed off, but I still don't think they should be as big as 3-1. I think 15-8 was more the price for them. It's a game which you can make a case either way, but obviously, I only back teams that have got value in. 1.12 at 35% is there's plenty in that. Dundee St Johnstone 34-22-44. I think Dundee, they're going, and it's a question of the other position. St Johnstone, it's a must-win game. I mean, if you look, I did highlight teams in red last week, and we done pretty well by not getting involved with them. Both these teams be at it tomorrow, as I think all of these will be. But 0.62 at 44 again, I think is pretty good. You're getting 15-8, about a 5-4 shot. Dundee shouldn't be favourites for this game. I fail to understand how they're favourites. It's a bit of a head scratcher, that one. St Mirren Hibernian 40-23-37. I long since gave up on Hibernian. They're a poor side, they're a flaky side. St Mirren, they've still got a bit to play for, and I think they'll be at it tomorrow. I struggle to see how come Hibs are favourite for this game. I think there's 2 teams here, Dundee and Hibernian, that don't warrant being favourites. It's not to say go and lay them or pile into the other 2, but I don't see how Hibs are favourite for this. I think St Mirren are 6-4 shots. There's 21-10 available. There's plenty of 2-1, and I think certainly if you're looking for a decent value bet this weekend with a decent figure, it's a good call, St Mirren, as is St Johnstone. I'm not going to say I'm backing them or you to back them, but there is value in both of those. Ross Celtic 8-23-69. No interest in this game. Forzon doesn't interest me, and I couldn't back Ross at 12-1. There's a point in it, but this figure's far too low. Dundee United Hearts 30-22-48. I don't think Hearts have really got anything to play for. They're going to be third. It's just a question of whether they want to keep the form going, really. I think they're 11-10. They're 21-20. There's 0.7 in Dundee United. They're unreliable. But I mean, I think 0.7 at 30% is acceptable. It's just about sort of on the borderline for me. But if you wanted to get involved, don't let me put you off. Moving on to the Championship, strongest bet here. Kilmarnock 61, draw 22, Arbroath 17. People will say, oh, that's a low figure for Arbroath based on where they are in the league. I'm telling you there's a mile between these 2 sides, and I can't believe for 1 minute that is not going to be in evidence tonight. Arbroath turned Kilmarnock over. and earlier on under Derek McInnes, and Killy will want to put that right for certain. And if they win tonight, that's it. It's championship over. Thankfully, we're on them at 7-4, but I think they're good things tonight. I really, really do. I was tempted, like I said last week to you about Stenhousemer. That should have been a maximum, shouldn't it? And I'm tempted for this. I was tempted for this to be a maximum bet, but I'm settling for a 2-point win bet on Kilmarnock. I think 4-5 is still value. I could not believe it when I'd done the work earlier on in the week. They were putting it even money, and as I say, I had 2 points on it evens yesterday, and members have as well. But 4-5 is obviously not as good as evens, but you're still getting plenty of value. Try the exchanges. I don't know what price they are on the exchanges. I think Killy are good things tonight. I can only see one result there. Hamilton Wraith 40-22-38. They don't have a lot to play for, Hamilton. Well, nothing really. And 6-4 I think is a correct price. There's 0.37 in Wraith at 38%. They done us a favour last week, Wraith. If you expect them to repeat the dose, I think 2-1 is big. 0.37 at 38 is it's up to you. Morton Inverness 37-23-40. You can make a case for both of these sides not really wanting to overly commit this weekend. Inverness are going to be in the playoffs. Morton are safe, well, pretty much safe. I think Inverness should be favourites, but only slight. Whether 0.3 at 37% appeals to you in Morton, that's entirely up to you. Partick Dunfermline 42-23-35. Again, I think this is on the short side. We did oppose Partick last week successfully, and I think that there's potential for them to slip out the playoffs. There really is. There'll be a bit of pressure for them tomorrow in this game. And Dunfermline, as I've said all season, I know the league table doesn't lie, but I still hear that they're a better side than what we've seen. It wouldn't surprise me if they turned up and won this tomorrow. 0.32 at 35. It's a tough one. It's not for me, but don't let me put you off if you did want to get involved, because I think that, there is value in it. Queen of the South Air 36-24-40. Queen of the South are down. I feel now it's a miracle that for them it is a miracle. They're not mathematically down, but they're going to go. Air, they could fill the other position. It's quite a big game this tomorrow, and I think they'll both be at it, but it's certainly a no-bet game as far as I'm concerned. Moving on then, League One. I think there's quite a few teams here that have got things to play for at both ends of the table. Clyde Airdrie 22-23-55. 7-10 I think is too short. 4-5 is more the price for Airdrie. There's half a point in Clyde at 22%. The rating isn't high enough for me to warrant involvement in that, but if you did fancy Clyde, then you're getting value with them. But it's a no-bet game as far as I'm concerned, although I do expect Airdrie to win to try to keep the pressure up on Cove. Cove against Dumbarton, 66-23-11. I'd expect Cove to win this handsomely. There's half a point in Dumbarton, but you're not going to go taking half a point at 11%. You're not going to, well, you will win in the long run, but winners are going to be so infrequent that it won't feel worth it in the end. But I think Cove will win tomorrow. They're just too short for me, but I think they're probably, other than Celtic, I think they're probably the strongest rated side of the weekend, Cove, or certainly one of them. But there's no value in them, sadly. But I think they're good things. But Dumbarton will be at it. There's no mistake about that, because they'll still want to stay up. Falkirk Alloa 42-23-35. I think Falkirk warrant being favourites for this, not by a huge amount, not by the prices the bookmakers have got them up. I think 21-20 about an iffy Falkirk side is far too short as far as I'm concerned. Alloa, there's a 9 crept into that draw. It's not 109-3. Alloa 35%, 0.32 in it. It's up to you, isn't it? I don't really feel both of these have got an awful lot to play for. But it's pride. Aller have disappointed this season. Falkirk have disappointed. It's not a game for me. The next game certainly isn't a game for me either. Montrose Queen's Park 38-23-39. I don't like Montrose's home form, I have to say, and I don't like the fact that they've crept into that mode, haven't they? Coasting along, like I've flagged it up before about Montrose and Forfar, in particularly those two teams. Queen's Park probably will be in that mode, but I think out the two teams, they've got the most incentive to win. 0.4 at 39% I think is probably good enough, and I wouldn't put you off a bet on Queen's Park. It's just tough, isn't it? Because if Montrose were guaranteed a playoff position, which they are, and Queen's Park had to win, to cement their position, then you could certainly make a strong case for getting involved in Queen's Park, but not really for me. Peterhead East Fife 59-24-17. I think both these teams will be trying tomorrow. Peterhead won't want to get sucked into that other position. 59%. I think they should be 7-10. They're 5-6. So there's a bit of value in there. The rating's good. East Fife been putting 11-4. I think it's far too short. I can't see East Fife winning this game, but I have said this before about this fixture. I think earlier on in the season. But I do expect Peter to turn up and win tomorrow. They'll both be at it, rest assured. League 2, I think there's plenty of non-triers here. I think it's only the game at the bottom, I think, where they're both going to be at it. Stenhousemuir, Stranraer. I mean, Stenhousemuir went on the bridle for us last week, but we'll come to that in a minute. Edinburgh Annan 37-24-39. Not a lot in Edinburgh. Well, there's nothing in Edinburgh. They really do need to win. Annan don't need to win. There's a bit of value in them. I couldn't imagine taking that. I'd only ever take 0.1 at 39% if it was a extremely bad week. It's a difficult one. Edinburgh will definitely be at it, but Annan are a tough nut to crack. But they there's been signs recently that we're in the playoffs. We'll coast along mode. I mean, if they were to get turned over tonight, Edinburgh, I think this price will shorten drastically. I really, really do, because if Edinburgh get turned over, a win tomorrow for Steny takes them fourth, and as I've said, I know that playoffs were expected at Steny at the start of the season, and still are. So, but they're going to need some help. So it's just a question of whether Annan are going to do Edinburgh a favour tonight and roll over. If they roll over, then Steny will be at it tomorrow regardless. Albion Stirling, we'll come to that Steny game in a minute. 34-23, 43. No interest in this game at all. Sterling most likely is winners on figures, 43%, 0.2 in it. Again, not really enough for me to warrant getting involved. It's probably something I would do on a normal week if bets were thin on the ground, but I've highlighted these teams in red for a reason. I don't want to get involved in them because they don't have anything to play for. Elgin Cowderbeath 62-22-16. I'm denied about Elgin, and the reason being is because I just think they might want to win, just to sort of reassert themselves. And I've said all season, a decent side at Borough Briggs. I was tempted to bet them until I put this video out. I really am tempted to bet them. If you wanted to bet Elgin, please don't let me put you off, because 0.21 at 62% is cracking value. It really, really is. That's a bet I'm struggling to leave alone. I can tell you that. I think if getting offered 5 to 6, about 8 to 13 shots, I snap your hand off usually. But it's just that niggle of they don't need to win. They might do Cowderbeath a favour. It's it's all ifs and buts, and when that has to come into the equation, it sort of muddies the waters as far as I'm concerned. But I on figures, Elgin ought to win this. They really should, but again, they've got a lot to play for. Kelty Forfar. Kelty have won the league. Forfar in the playoffs. None of these teams need to do anything, do they? 0.13 in Kelty. It all depends on Kelty. If they want to turn up and play, they'll win. Simple as that. They've demonstrated this season they're by far the best side in the division. They've had Forfar's number, which is disappointing for me. But it's do you trust them? It's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you're getting cracking value, particularly with Elgin and Kelty. The figures are massively high. It's just, can you trust them? And if it, when it, for me personally, I do this on a semi-professional basis. Part of my livelihood depends on this. And if there's like the remote chance that a team might not be fully committed to the cause, I don't bet. But make no mistake, there's value in Kelty. Stenhousemuir Stranraer. I think this is the one game in the division where we can say that both teams will be at it, because Stranraer still want to have a go. It's difficult, isn't it? But with Stenhousemuir, the one thing we have to say is next week they're away at Forfar. Forfar might just want to finish the season on a high, so they've got to get this done tomorrow. Edinburgh, I think, play Stirling next weekend from memory, and that could be a game that you look at it and you think, yeah, Edinburgh will win that. Stenny have to win tomorrow to either get into fourth after tonight's result or keep the pressure on. I think they should be 5-4. They're 11-8. It's 0.13. We have to take it. It's as simple as that. Well, I've just given you one of the other bets. It's a bet I'm committed to making. So I've given you 2 of the 4 bets. I'm having a 2-point win bet on Kilmarnock, and I'm having a 1-point win on Stenhousemuir. I can't mention the other 2 bets because it's unfair to members. But I'm having 4 bets this week. But I have to back this. These I'm going to find hard to leave alone, and if Kilmarnock win tonight as I expect them to, I'm probably of the mindset where I'll end up going and having a quarter of a point on both of these, and I don't need to, but I'd never put them up on the account. But it is, if I have a good result tonight, then I could be tempted to have a quarter of a point. It's just really hard to let teams go that have got figures like this, and there's value in, because you don't very often find them that high. So that's it. It's quite a difficult one to assess, isn't it, what you're going to do. I think there's bits and pieces in the Championship. That's definitely strongest bet of the week, as I've said already. Premier League, I think there's plenty on, isn't there, value-wise in the Premier League. League One, there's bits and pieces, but I think the one thing in particularly the first 3 games, low rating, not so sure on those, and obviously you've got Peterhead. So, and quickly, League 2, as I say, that's the bet for me in League 2, but I know that if Killy win, I'll end up having 2 stupid bets on those. But that's it. Let's fingers crossed. We are at the end of the season. At the end of the season, what we'll do, we'll have a full review of all the results and where we stand anti-post. Anti-post in England, I think it's League 2, Exeter and Bristol Rovers we done at the start of the season. They're bang up there. So fingers crossed for them. National League, I've abandoned the National League at the moment. It's just it was a stop-start season, and it's really not helped get any sort of level of consistency. But if I find a standout bet there, I will obviously put it up on here. Premier League, what do I think in the Premier League? Top 4's interesting again now, isn't it? With Tottenham losing at home to Brighton and Arsenal winning at Chelsea, that's back on. A couple of relegation issues, I think, as well in the Premier League. But yeah, I mean, that's it for this weekend, guys. Fingers crossed. Don't forget Kilmarnock tonight. That kicks off in an hour and a half or whatever it is. But Fingers crossed. Hopefully it's as good as last weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.